Hey planners, welcome to my channel and welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Gabby. I've been a wedding planner for the last 12 years and I am here on YouTube sharing everything and anything that happens to us in the wedding planning journey. From tutorials to day in the life, behind the scenes, and honestly just one-on-one chats with you guys. That is why I created this channel. I hope that you stick around, and if you like the content, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. It is a great way to support me for free. But also, if you want a little more inside information into my business, feel free to join my membership. It's 3 different levels with 3 different types of perks. So you can join at any level that's convenient for you. But if you go pro and above, you get access to some videos that are just for you. And this is where I really share some insider's information into my business. So if you'd like to join, the link is below. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. Okay, so I thought it would be fun today to talk about some questions that are in some online Facebook groups for wedding planners, right? Some top questions. A lot of these people ask questions like scenarios and what would you do if this happened? And I was like, you know what? Let me screenshot some of these and let me give you my honest answer. I went ahead and screenshotted some of these questions and scenarios. So let me read them first to you and I will put them on the screen here at the same time. So, hi everyone. I'm a wedding planner and finally getting clients in. Yay for you. We're excited. But I need some advice on accepting payments. How do you all accept payments? My website is through Wix, but I'm not sure if I should try receiving payments through there or just going through Zelle/Venmo payments. Would love some advice. Thanks. Great question. When I first started, I essentially only accepted checks because that's really at the time the only thing. I didn't really have a business set up online or anything like that, and didn't have a CRM or didn't have anything to ways to collect credit card payments or anything like that. Checks are absolutely no problem, but I think there's a little bit of a barrier for a younger generation of couples coming in. They don't want to write a check. They want a quick, easy way to pay. So setting up an online payment is highly, highly recommended. I personally use rock, paper, coin just because I found it to be the most simple way to accept payments, send out contracts, and even add and edit to the invoice if needed. So I've had some clients that wanted to add on more time after the wedding or maybe for the rehearsal dinner, and I can go and update that at any point. It also sends them automatic reminders, and it's very simple. There is just not a whole lot to it, which is what we love. However, if you are looking into Zelle or Venmo, I just want to make sure that you are setting your business up correctly for receiving payments. So that means you probably have to open a business account in any of those situations. I personally have never used Zelle actually, so I don't really know how that works. But for Venmo, I know people who have gotten in some deep, deep trouble by not accepting payments to a business account and not telling Venmo that they are a business. You do have to pay a fee when you're a business. You can charge that to the client, I believe, or you have to pay the processing fee. This is just the way of doing business. The good news is those merchant fees, as we call them, or credit card processing fees, are write-offs at the end of the year. So your accountant or your bookkeeper or yourself, if you're your own bookkeeper, should be keeping those in its own category. So anytime you are charged one of those fees, that is something that can be itemized in your balance sheet at the end of the year. Next question. Hi, everyone. I'm new and have a question about travel. I've stated that I charge travel fees for anything over 50 miles, but I have no idea how to calculate how much I should charge. I have a day of coordination, which is 86 miles away, about an hour and a half drive. How much do you charge for travel? How should I calculate this? Thanks so much in advance for your advice. This is a hard one because everyone does it a little bit differently. It's completely up to you how you want to do it. You can charge a flat fee based off of everything you want to put in your travel expense. So for example, you might just be driving to this wedding, or you might be flying, you might be renting a car, you might have a per diem, which means an amount per day that will cover your meals for you and your team. Those are all things that I would really make sure, and accommodations, of course, that I would put into the travel fee. Now, when you're sending your proposal to a client, we've done it both ways, where sometimes I will include it in the total amount only because there's so many layers to the travel fees. Estimated, I probably round up just a little bit for buffer and I include that in the total fee. And I say, hey, here's our fee. It includes our team, it includes our travel, it includes our services. Bam, this is all you need to pay. That's it. Or you could absolutely itemize it. I know some people that also, and I've done this at times where I've allowed couples to use credit card points for me for some airfare. That can be risky because you don't have necessarily full control perhaps of the booking. Although I guess if they put your name in it, it should go to you. You should be able to control the booking. But I would say sometimes that's a great incentive if a client is hesitant to book you because of travel fees and you're getting started and you're maybe not confident in selling yourself with travel fees. You may want to ask them if they're wanting to use credit card points. It's no additional cost to them. And maybe there's like a few bucks on taxes that they have to pay. Now, in terms of mileage, there is a federal mileage rate that it comes out every year. And for 2025, that rate is 70 cents per mile. So essentially what they say, it's really so self-employed and businesses 70 cents per mile, charities is 14 cents per mile, medical is 21 cents per mile. Now, this is based on government rates typically is what they refund with this, but you can set your own rate. Does that make sense to you? 70 cents a mile for you to travel. Now, when it is something as far as this, in this person's post, she's saying it's about an hour and a half away. I would also consider, are you okay driving that on the way home late at night? If the event ends at 10, which a lot of venues do, and you are cleaning up until 11, that means you're not home till 12:30. Just something to keep in mind. And if necessary, you may want to ask your couples if you could have them pay for one night accommodation. But if you're fueled up on Red Bull and ready to go and want to drive back, then I would charge them for the mileage. Okay, another good one. This person says, I'm in a situation with a client who takes a really long time to respond, which is creating a bunch more work for me and gives me a bit of anxiety for getting the wedding plan to my professional standards. Agreed. I will contact vendors, but by the time a client responds to me, the vendor has already booked someone else. Then I have to find someone else for them. For this client, we still very much have time to plan the full wedding, but need to pick up the pace to avoid all of the vendors being booked. I genuinely really like the client, but I think that they just have a lot on their plate right now and their wedding isn't a priority. I know I need to send them an email and outline the communication needs to improve, but I'm unsure of what to say to keep the relationship really positive still. Ugh, I feel that every year this still happens. A few preventative things perhaps we can talk about, and obviously we'll address this as it's happening. The first thing is I make sure that I have a clause where in my contract they have to initial about 5 specific things, such as if you change your mind on the design and scope, you have to pay a redesign fee. You are not responsible for alcohol at the end of the night. And of course, one of them is exactly this, which is you have to make decisions in a timely manner. Now, when we start with our full service planning clients, we send them what's called an adventure guide. Well, we send them a few things. One of them is just communication in general. Here's our availability. Here's the best way to reach us. And here's what we expect from you when it comes to communication. So that's the first thing that we send out in our welcome email to get them set up. And that I found that's helpful if, of course, people read it. The other thing that I mentioned is the adventure guide. Now, the adventure guide is a bird's eye view document, usually 1 or 2 pages, that goes through the planning process with deadlines next to each section. Now, these are deadlines both for us as the wedding planner, but also for them as the client. So, for example, catering category might say, to get 3 proposals by this date. And then below it is to review by, and then 2 weeks later. And then right after that, it says clients to book caterer by this date. I found that while it's a bit of a pain to put those dates together at the very beginning of the planning process, and of course, allowing some flexibility if things come up with holidays or anything like that during the process, but I have found that it's been super, super helpful to set everybody up for success from the very beginning. And you have proof that if for some reason the client is not following those lines or those deadlines, then you can go ahead and say, hey, I've been doing my part here. I really need you to meet these deadlines. Now, based off of this person's question, they're obviously in the thick of it now. They maybe didn't have an adventure guide, or maybe they did have some type of deadline system set up. And like, how do you manage the clients not responding? Personally, I would probably send them an email and say, proposal is being your date is being held with this proposal until this deadline. And then if the deadline comes and goes and the vendor books someone else, you have to then get on the phone with them and say, listen, we're losing out on vendors because the deadlines are not being met. Is there something that would help you go through this process better, right? Because maybe all it is that they need is they want to talk about the proposal with you because they don't understand it, or they're maybe too shy to even mention that. Really listening to them, asking the question without blaming them quite yet, is a great way to get some feedback from them and say, oh, so sorry, we had 2 big work travel weeks, we couldn't get to it. Okay, in that case, please let me know ahead of time so I can ask for an extension, that you are going to review this in 2 weeks, right? So there are some really great ways that you can kind of approach it before blaming them. Now, if it really gets bad, and as long as your contract says this is a way that you can break the contract, terminate the contract, I wouldn't be afraid to say, hey, couple, have tried to help you plan this wedding now for X number of months. We've expressed how important the communication is and meeting these deadlines. We've asked you for feedback on how to make this communication better, and it's still not improving. At this point, I don't think we're going to be able to help you plan this wedding, as we really need this to be a partnership. And maybe looking into actually canceling, or perhaps that'll scare them enough and they'll get it together, right? But that's tough. That does happen a lot. And honestly, for the first little bit, it feels like you're just hounding them with emails and being like, hey, checking in on this. Hi, following up. Do you have an answer? Sometimes that's just what happens. And eventually they snap out of it and they start answering all your emails. Okay, next up. Hi, everyone. Looking for some insight and recommendations. We just got invited to our very first wedding show. Eek! The venue is a beautiful modern farmhouse, black and white and natural wood colors. I own an event rental and planning company. In your opinion, what should I have featured to show what I offer without overdoing it? Also, what kind of things should I have in the main information table when people approach my booth, like prizes, sign-up sheets, etc.? I want to make it fun and really connect with potential clients. I love this question because I think there's a lot to say about these types of shows, right? Bridal shows, expos, wedding events, all that kind of stuff. I think for certain people, it can work really well in certain cities and certain markets. And I think for others, your ideal client will not be there. And that's okay if you're not participating in those. So I did some bridal kind of shows and expos past, and I did not get a single couple out of it. I will go on a limb and say that I think those who attend, majority, not all the time, those who attend these shows are definitely more of a budget conscious couple. Are looking possibly for some giveaways or just to see what's local in their area and what's possible. I will say that's not always the case, though. Please don't come at me in the comments. I think there's also opportunities for venues to host, like this example, venues to host really well done expos and curate a great list of vendors that are perhaps either on their vendor list already or they're looking to add in from the local community. That can be multiple budget types of clients. Now, I think if I put myself in the shoes of a couple looking for their vendors, I think when they go into a wedding show like this, it can be super overwhelming, right? So what would attract them? I think first, stay true to your ideal client. Who are you looking to work with? Show more of them, especially if it's like in the LGBTQ community. Make sure you have some imagery that they feel that they can approach you, that you're one of their allies. If you are looking to do mostly outdoor weddings, then feature most of your outdoor stuff. This person, it's great because they also have rentals. So I would even, if you have the capacity to set up table setup or anything where your rentals are showcased, you can even say, this little lounge setup I made, these are my rentals. So when you hire me as your planner, you also have access to, through any of these rentals, we're like a one-stop shop. And that's a huge perk for some people. I also really like the idea of some type of giveaway or way that they can get on your email list. I could go on, and we'll talk about an email list down the road on another video, because I literally think I have 800 something people that have downloaded our freebie in our last few years, and I've taken them on a whole email journey, but that's beside the point. I think getting these potential couples on your email list, though, is a great way to keep the communication going and to make sure that you are on the top of their mind when they're thinking about all the wedding vendors they met at this expo. So, in order to get someone's email, it can be pretty tough. There has to be some incentive, right? So, if you have a way to, yes, give a discount or say, hey, put your email down. I'm going to do a giveaway of, specialty welcome signs that I make. Or even if you partner with someone who has goods, it's worth maybe buying something from them, or a little gift box, or like a newly engaged couple gift box that you can give away to somebody who puts their email down. I would really encourage you to do that. Now, making sure that you're connecting with people is, of course, the most important part. If you're the main lead planner and you're selling yourself, that's even more important, that you're connecting one-on-one with these people and you're asking them questions. I think this is a big mistake that people make, is that they are too busy selling themselves, but they're not asking the couples what they might need from their planner. So asking people like, hey, where are you at in your planning journey? What are you feeling most excited about? Or what's scaring you? And then you could go ahead and address those concerns and save the day with your wedding planning knowledge. Okay, on for today. Also, guys, let me know if you like these types of Q&As. I think it's fun to see what the community is saying. And I also feel like we have a lot of we've all gone through these similar problems. So I would love to know your thoughts on whether or not these were helpful. Okay, ready to take my business from very part-time to full-time. I have 6 months of expenses saved up for the inevitable transition. My question is, how did you grow your business? Like, grow it. I have on average 6 to 8 weddings a year, and that was more than enough before, but I want this to be my exclusive income. I haven't been great about my social media. I know how to do it, and obviously we'll be focusing on that. But what are other unexpected ways to grow? Paid ads, the knot, wedding wire, etc. Let me know. Okay, question. I have some videos on how to book your ideal clients. I think finding out who you're targeting first is probably the best way to get started. Otherwise, you're like spaghetti at the wall and you're trying to figure out who is even a good fit for you, and you don't even know how to send the right messaging to them, right? So figuring out who you're trying to target in terms of whether it's wedding aesthetic, careers, location, budget, you name it. Write everything down on who that ideal client is to the best of your knowledge and start talking to that person specifically. Now, social media, of course, I can't tell you how much Reels is getting way more attention more than static posts. Posts are now getting like 20 likes when they used to get maybe 150. So Reels, of course, is the way to go. And I know that's so challenging to do, but take your time, connect with people, do something funny, or show them behind the scenes. I always think those do really well. The other thing I would recommend is, because I love Pinterest, I have a whole playlist and I will put it here if you're just getting started with Pinterest for business. It is a magic tool for wedding planners. There are so many strategic ways that you can be on Pinterest and attract clients. So I won't go into too deep with that, because I have a whole playlist just for you guys to look at. This is interesting. I would agree that certain websites, if you're getting started and you just want an influx of people, paid ads can be a good strategy. That being said, I know that there are some robot inquiries, like fake spammy inquiries that come in. I, of course, have no proof, but I know that certain websites, experience from other planners, people have said that they get a lot of spammy stuff and they just feel like their return on investment isn't always there. So TBD on whether or not that works. I do, however, recommend you spend on SEO. My friend Sarah from Sarah Does SEO is the absolute queen of this. I've dabbled in my own blogging that does a great job, but she is really the go-to person for all things SEO. She has a boot camp. She has like all sorts of really cool things, and she can do some one-on-one. I think if you have gotten your SEO in the right place, especially if you're just getting started, although you can always get your SEO fixed down the road. But if you're just getting started and you're launching your website, this is the best time to do it because you're starting off strong. Okay, and then the other thing I will say that is like secret strategy, but although I've talked about it on YouTube a bazillion times, is strategic site tours. Now, one of our biggest referrals is being on preferred venue lists. When you are on a preferred venue, that means that your name is getting passed off amongst other people, getting passed off to every single person that is taking a tour at that venue. So the first thing you want to ask yourself is, what venues are aligned with the types of weddings and events that I want to do? When you've narrowed those down, you will reach out to the venue managers kindly and say, I love your venue. I would love to come take a tour and get to learn about it a little bit more. Can I do that? They say yes. You go and take a tour. You chat with the venue manager. You're not asking to be on the list right now. You're not promoting yourself like crazy. You are just trying to connect from human to human with the person giving you the tour and asking important questions that your own clients, your future clients that you will book, are going to ask you. What's the capacity? What's the curfew? What's the parking like? What does the venue include? What do I have to bring in? What's my load in time? Do you have a loading dock? Are you allowed fireworks? Can people have real or fake candles? All those questions. And then you're going to get yourself some photos. Now, whether those be photos that you take yourself, or if you have a photographer that also wants to tour this venue and could benefit from blogging about this as well, bring them along. You'll take some photos of the venue and you will get your photos back from the photographer and write a really wonderful blog post that is SEO optimized, which is why you've got to talk to Sarah before. SEO optimized, and you are going to strategically keyword that blog post so that people who are searching anything about that venue are going to see your blog post, right? And now you're going to look like you are an amazing expert at this venue. You've toured it, you know ins and outs, and you're going to share that blog post with the venue manager or the venue owner, and you're going to say, thank you so much for the tour. Here's some photos for you to use, as long as you have permission from the photographer. Here are some photos for you to use of your venue. And I wrote this really wonderful blog post. I want to spread the word. I want to help promote you. Please let me know if there's anything else you need from me and how I can be a partner with you for weddings in the 2025 season and beyond. How good would that feel if you receive that as a venue owner? If you're a venue person, please comment below your thoughts on that. Would you find that helpful? And would you find it a little less aggressive than saying, hi, venue owner, I'm a wedding planner. I want to be on your preferred list. What do I do? Right? I think so. So that would be my best recommendations because, and it's not always going to be a yes, right? It's not always going to be a yes, but that's okay. You're still going to drive traffic to your website and you're going to still show up as an expert from taking those tours and you're going to learn. You're going to learn so much. So once you have all of those things set up, you should start seeing some more traffic coming in. The other thing is, don't forget, you might feel like you are telling the world that you're a wedding planner, but still people are getting so many messages every day through all sorts of medium across social media, the news, talking with friends, texts, whatever. They may not remember that you're a wedding planner. So reminding your inner circle, your close friends and family, and asking for any recommendations or referrals is always a great way to start. Don't worry, they will come eventually, whether it's through advertising or SEO or some one-on-one actual human conversations. Oh, well, that does it for today, my friends. I hope you liked this chat that we had. If you have or specific questions that you want me to answer, please drop them in the comments below. I would love to do more of these kind of the cusp problem solving with you because I have had my fair share of both wedding day problems and wedding business building problems. And I would love to go through those with you and hopefully help you find a solution. So as always, thanks for tuning in and give me a thumbs up if you appreciated this video. I will see you next week. Bye.